Where's the eagle?
Good catch, Jim.
All right. And today's topic is going to be the Career Center. Woo, welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome. We are excited because today we have the Career Center with us. They are being an awesome, awesome addition to the Eagle Talk uh, experience, and this is what we wanted for everybody and from everyone. Thank you very much. My name is Mariceli Vargas. I am the Director of Student Life and Activities here at CTC. And with me, I have a great panel of judges. No, just kidding. It's not really judges. We have a great panel that is going to talk about career services and some of the things that all students and anybody that is part of CTC should be aware of. And if you don't, you definitely need to. Anybody that has any questions, please go ahead and type them in the chat for our presenters. We are going to be monitoring those live so that way we can go ahead and help you guys answer some of those burning questions. And I guess I'm just going to kind of go around and introduce my sharpshooting team. First of all, we have Bruce Fassbinder from our marketing department who keeps me sane during these events. Jennifer Parcell, my right-hand person here at Student Life and Activities. Then we have Keisha Holman, the Director of the Career Services. And last but not least, Brian Oakes, who also is part of the Career Services. And so I want to welcome you all. Thank you very much for being here with us and again, keeping the sanity. One of the great opportunities that we have right now is to be able to talk about not just it's almost like going back from the what the future goal is to now, and Career Center can kind of help you figure out what your ultimate goal is going to be and how to map it out. CTC would like to call that a pathway. um, and I think one of the best ways that we have is the Career Center, and I was wondering if you, Keisha, or Brian might be able to talk to us a little bit about what that means, that mapping out.
Sure. So essentially, what we want to do in the Career Center is identify and support students' career goals. So some students come to us and they know exactly what it is that they want to do, and that's great. But then you have students who aren't 100% sure what it is that they want to do. And so we have different resources and tools in place to help them identify what it is that they want to do, and then we support them along the way with all different kinds of services.
So that's one of the things, and so if you have like a student that's like, oh, I don't know what I want to be when I grow up, because that's my favorite question to ask anybody. It doesn't matter the age. Throws people off sometimes, but that's one of those things where the student will come up to you guys say like, I don't know what I want to do. How do I do that? Like, what are some of the things that you guys have to offer that might help a student kind of through that path?
So career advising is one of our services that we provide by appointment in the Career Center. And the first step in that is our online career assessments. We do that through myplan.com. And my plan has 4 different assessments, and it sounds complicated, but assessment is just a fancy word for a list of questions that they ask, and you just kind of answer. And then based on your responses, it generates information about different career fields that match the person based on the responses to those questions. And it's takes about an hour. It's not anything really complicated. And then we use those results when we sit down with the student to advise them about their career path.
So I know at least I was in one session with Brian, and it was kind of interesting because, and oh my God, it reminded me of me because this person took it and then it's like they love everything, they want to do everything. You know, what do you do then? When they're just like, oh yeah, love life. Woo, I love to learn a little bit about everything because that was me, honestly.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes honestly with my plan, some students will take it and it just kind of confirms what they already were thinking and that's enough. And then sometimes it's too much information and then they need kind of some guidance. And so we just kind of talk them through it. And sometimes it may take more than one advising session. It's not always just wave a magic wand. I wish I had those powers, but I don't, to kind of figure it out. And sometimes it's just kind of talking through what it is, what their expectations are and what their future plans are. Because sometimes they may have ideas about where they want to live and different things that they want to do in the future. And so kind of talking those things through so we can align their career path with those things that they're thinking about doing in the future. And so it's really a lot of communication, spending time. We don't just dive right in, kind of have a little bit of time to talk to the student, get a feel for who they are and what it is that they're interested in. I usually tell them a little bit about myself and my experience here at CTC, just to kind of develop a rapport and get comfortable, so that once we start talking, it's a little bit more of a conversation and not just them listening to me talk at them about the results of their assessments.
What? Students don't want to get talked at?
Believe it or not, no. No, I'm not a huge fan of that either. And so I'm definitely more about a conversation. And I mean, I feel like we all know those situations where our parent or someone else in authority has said, do this, do this, do this. And you're
Yeah.
like, no, no, no. And then your friend, you're having a conversation, they make a suggestion, exact same thing, by the way. And it's like the first time you ever heard it and you're open and you're accepting. And so it's kind of that same thing. You just want to have that conversation and it just works better that way.
Hey, Keisha, I'm imagine when you have that conversation, or just a conversation, you kind of, the ideas of what they really want to do, like Mariceli said, I want to do everything. I bet you're able to narrow that down a little bit more through the conversation as they open up a little bit more.
Exactly, exactly. Because the the goal is you obviously want to choose a career that's going to be able to support you financially, but you also want it to be fulfilling in other ways, which is part of why there's 4 different pieces to the assessment tool. And so as you're talking, you kind of figure out ways that you can fulfill this interest with your career and maybe this interest somewhere in some other way so that you are kind of, like you said, just kind of narrowing it down to kind of get a plan together. And sometimes it takes more than one conversation.
Awesome. So we have a question in the chat. First of all, I want to send out a shout out to one of my graduates that make me feel happy, Kermaine Lockett. I know you're watching. Shout out to you. Thank you. Yay! I got a little message
Notice the
through
sign,
Facebook.
Kermaine.
Yeah.
Okay, just so you guys know, Kermaine is a huge Steelers fan, and
Not as big as
so
me, but that's okay.
okay, well, at least he and Bruce have that in common. So shout out
But that's
to you.
it. Nothing else. That's it.
That's all you have in common. Okay. So we do have a question, and it says, "What is a hot field for students to perhaps consider right now?"
Healthcare. We are in the midst of a pandemic and people are scrambling for qualified healthcare workers, all levels from CNA, CMA, all the way up to RNs. That is kind of a hot field right now.
I imagine
I
another
agree.
one would be cybersecurity.
Yes. Yes.
Transportation, moving things and goods, not so much moving people, but as everybody's coming out of the pandemic, they got used to doing everything, shopping online and having it dropped off at the door. and a lot of companies have adapted and improved their infrastructure. That is definitely here to stay.
That's
And
a
even
good
with
point.
the healthcare, it's not always nursing or CNA. They also have continuing ed, which is EKG, pharmacy tech. My
Right.
oldest daughter, Skylar, today's her first day of class for the EKG technician. So she's very
Nice.
excited. Yes, and it's healthcare all the way. That's what they said. So
Yep. That's awesome. Yeah, it's we see that more and more often, and I have the same situation. My daughter is also interested in healthcare, but not the traditional nursing or doctor, is like MLT, medical lab
Yeah.
technician,
Right.
and some of these other things. And then yeah, the cybersecurity is crazy right now because I don't know about you, but if you watch the news just a little bit, you start to see some of these like, oh yeah, you know, the malware and all this other stuff that's
Ransomware.
going, ransomware. They're trying to hack into your systems and try to get your information for money. So
And now
yeah,
they're hacking QR codes now. And so you just got to wonder what's next, or where is it going to end, or where's this going to end up. So, yeah.
Right.
seriously.
There's new careers and new jobs in the cybersecurity field that have sprouted up within the past year and a half that didn't exist before that, just because of the threats have evolved. So the technology and that field has evolved as well.
And so if you have a knack for that computer thing and like that, it's a very lucrative opportunity, I'm sure, as well. So
Absolutely.
So
And I wanted to circle back to something that Jen said for just a moment when she brought up continuing education. That's another thing that I like to point out to students is that if you're interested in healthcare, you don't have to be, like Maricela said, a doctor or a nurse. There's other avenues to pursue because some students aren't interested in going to school for as many years as it takes to get some of those other positions. So you have the certificate programs through continuing education, EKG, CNA, CMA, where you can help others in that same field, but without that huge time commitment in the education that those others require.
Yeah, and we have Eric from Facebook. He wants to know, he says, I just tuned in. What are the prospects for auto techs?
Auto technicians, whether it be gas, body shop, repair, diesel, whatever, that's what gets us from A to B. People are going to have automobiles. They're going to break. They're going to need technicians. Of course, there's a lot of things that go along with that. With the outlook being good, that's also dependent on the certifications that one has. If you are ASE master, those type of things that you can get certified as make you much more marketable in that field. But yeah, there's plenty of opportunities in that field.
Yeah, definitely. I know that we had an open house recently, and I got the chance of talking to the department chair for industrial technology that encompasses both the automotive, you know, auto tech and also the diesel. And he was just talking about all the certifications that they can get here, at least on the diesel end of it, and all the things that they can just mark off the list that we have as an option that even people when they go to work at some of these big companies don't have access to. And I was like, I might need to go into some of these things and like actually check it out because I'm a lifelong learner. So for those of you that join in, you're going to hear that often. I love taking me a class. I'm looking into taking a plumbing class soon just because I think it's helpful in the future for me and for my family. It's just one of those things that you just never know. Everybody needs a plumber at some point. I'm just saying. And even if you don't know how to do everything, just being able to do some of these, you know, basic things. And the same thing with auto mechanic, whether you want to be an auto mechanic or diesel mechanic or not, around this area, just how, I mean, honestly, I've lived in other states outside Texas. This is the only state I have been in where you just go to any parking lot and you just can identify all the diesel trucks just in the parking lot alone. Like you
Yeah.
just, and the vehicles are just amazing in the parking structure. So we definitely want to highlight some of these things that it doesn't have to be going to school for 6, 8 years to be able to make the money.
Yeah. Hey, Eric, to that point, let me shed a little light on the auto industry here. It's reported that there's a shortfall of like 70,000 trained technicians every year. And in Texas alone, there's a shortfall of like 700 technicians across the state. So, you know, and across the country, demand for technicians over the next 5 years is expected to be around 380,000. So there is a huge
Wow.
demand for auto techs. So wherever you go, whether it's here in Texas or whether it's across the country, you're going to find a job. You're going to be in need if that's your area of pursuit, if that's a career you want to pursue. So,
Yeah.
yeah, you're going to be in demand.
And if you
And one
think
thing
about when COVID went down, I mean, the people that were continuing to work were those people that were either in the healthcare field, they never stopped. They were either like in transportation, kind of like what Brian was saying, you know, moving like HEB and all of these individuals moving goods, not necessarily people, because people were
Right,
just locked
right.
down. And then even in the even in during the ice storm, like if you look at it, everybody was like, "When is HEB got? Like, can I get something at HEB? Like, where's this? You know, the
Exactly.
toilet paper, the whole
Logistics.
toilet paper thing was a big. It was kind of funny, but in reality, if you think about it, that's a you know that is planning and logistics of everything. So
Right.
definitely, definitely. Brian, did you have something?
One thing about like the vocational programs that we have, they're not lockstep. This is the book. We're teaching the book. It's the same book that's been taught. These courses get evaluated constantly and updated, so you're not learning something that I may or may not use it. If it's outdated in the field, it gets scrapped from the program, and they marry up with the technologies and the processes that are current and relevant.
Yeah, definitely. So Eric, thank you. Eric is seconding the whole plumber comment. They should be taught in high school, he says. I agree. We need to learn how to do some basic like mechanical stuff because it would save us a lot of time, effort, and money.
And Eric,
And
send me
then,
your email so because I got a car for you to work on. So.
oh, well, RIP.
Yeah, it's
We'll
pretty
talk.
close.
We'll talk about that car another time.
It's on life support. It's still breathing.
Sure, I think we need to bury it, but we'll
Oh,
talk
come on
about
now.
that. But oh, he also says, "Wow, thank you. I'm transitioning Air Force aircraft mechanic, looking to keep tuning wrenches." Yes, aircraft mechanic. Let me tell you something. That is also another field that, you know, you don't have to move people. And if you're in the Air Force, you know that you don't have to just move people. Their cargo planes are huge too. So definitely any kind of mechanical work that deals with vehicles, go for it, man. Come back. And if you're here in the Killeen area, come see us. We also have airplanes, by the way, if you didn't know. In CTC,
Yeah.
we have an aviation program,
Yeah.
and we also we don't necessarily teach the mechanics of it, but we definitely have a few planes that that definitely need maintenance every once in a while.
Yeah. No, seriously, Eric, hook me up. Hook a brother up. Talk to me. Get my car fixed. Let's go. It's a
All
grand
right.
prix.
For those of you that don't know that, it's a Pontiac, which they don't even make anymore.
Yes, but that's why it's a good car. It's a classic car.
Is it though?
It really is. It has been designated as such.
Okay.
Well, yeah, because it's over 20 years old.
Whatever it takes. Just hook me up, Eric. Come on.
That means it's a historic car, not a classic car.
Okay, that's enough from the peanut gallery.
No, but definitely. So we also, let's see, another comment from one our biggest fan, Julie. She says, so where can students go to learn about new fields? If a student only knows about the typical positions, where to learn about new options?
Great question. And I'm going to throw back to My Plan again, because the great thing about myplan.com is in addition to the online career assessments, they have a career database. So all kinds of information about all different kinds of fields, and it drills down on the details. I'm talking with my hands and I can't stop, so sorry.
I do it all the time.
I do too.
But if you search a particular field, you can find out different jobs within that field. You can find out what the education requirements are for that type of work. You can find out salary and job outlook, because it's no good pursuing a field that isn't growing and progressing. You don't want to have to be trying to find a different career in a couple of years because it's died out. So that's important information. And it's not just for information here locally, it's for all across the United States. So you click on what state, you can drill down to different cities within the state to kind of get an idea of what the salary is. So all kinds of information on myplan.com that you can access through our website on the CTC webpage /career-center.
Yeah, and I imagine so also with that My Plan, you talk about the new industries or new job possibilities. Well, you talk about the generic, let's say computers, for example. We just talked about cybersecurity. That's one offshoot of a mainstay industry that people just now realize how growing it is. You know, and
Right.
also we talked about the medical industry, medical coding and billing. That's another growing industry. That's an
Huge.
offshoot of that main thing that everybody knows about. So they don't know about those underlying layers, which I'm sure My Plan
Exactly.
will help you get to.
Exactly. So in researching overall, like you said, computers or medical type fields, it gives you different professions within, and everything is clickable. And so you're just drilling down on more information. And then we're also here as well as a resource. So if additional research is required and you have additional questions, we can definitely help out with that as well.
Awesome. So, okay, Eric says he's on it, by the way, Bruce. He just bought his son a 2000 Saturn, which Saturn, yes, that was my first car. But he also asks, is the Ford Technicians of Tomorrow program still a thing? I know the
Yes, it is.
GM has a Shifting Gears program through Fort Hood.
Yes, it is. Ford Technicians Program is definitely a thing and growing. So if you need information, let me find some information. I'll put it in the chat for you. So hang on one second, or y'all keep talking and I'll do my thing.
You do
I
you
also
thing.
want to say that I just went to myplan.com. I've never been to it before, and it's one of the most easiest sites that I've ever. I mean, it's so easy. Just go to. I mean, everything is clickable. It's all right there. It's not difficult at all. I
Right.
like it.
And I'll just encourage everybody if they'll access it through our webpage, because the online assessments that I mentioned are not free, but we offer that for you. We have a licensing code that's available on our site. So that way you can go and do those assessments and not have to pay a fee.
Oh, awesome.
All right, so I have another question here. Eric says thank you. So Eric, we will be expecting your information soon. We'll be seeing you around soon, okay? Just saying. Wilma says, because computer science is such a broad area, which field would be the best to pursue? Ooh.
That's a individual question. So if somebody's interested, then it just becomes what interests you, and what's good for me may not be good for you. And so that would kind of go back to that conversation again, and kind of figuring out what part are you one of those people that are interested in the hardware or the internal software type positions, and kind of drilling down on what actually interests you about computer science, and kind of gauging where to go from there.
So, okay, there's a lot of fields open to students who are strong in STEM. What about students who are more into the liberal arts and the writing, and they're coming, they're looking for fields in that area? Science and math are the focus, but what if that's not your thing?
That's okay. That's okay. It's not, I mean, I'm not a science and math person either. But there are all kinds of careers that are out there for the creatives, and it's just a matter of, again, identifying. We have fine arts programs here at CTC, and we have students that are interested in drama and all different kinds of things. We have graphic design, which is a great hands-on program. A lot of students who want to just get in and do, that's a great hands-on program for the creative folks as well. So there's a lot of options out there.
So let me ask you this. So, okay, we've kind of talked about, I don't know what I want to do. I'm going to start my classes, or, I'm just kind of coasting at this point, trying to figure out what I want to do with my life. You got it figured out. You say, I'm in classes. I know what I want. I'm good to go. Now I need a job because I need to, my mom's making me pay rent. How can the Career Center help us?
Well, we cannot pay rent. Unfortunately, that is one of the services that we do not offer, but we have all types of resources to assist in job search. Job search techniques. We have an online job board that is fantastic. People would be surprised how many calls, emails, Facebook, got one on Facebook. People are reaching out because they are interested in recruiting our students. And so we give them access to our online job board so that they can post those positions. Again, I'm going to keep referring to our website. And if Bruce, the website master, will throw our webpage in the chat, that would be awesome.
I will do so.
And so students can go on to the job board and search those positions. It also has national listings as well. So not just positions where people have contacted us, but others as well. And then we do application and resume assistance. So sometimes people are filling out applications, but they're not getting any interviews. And so they're wondering why. And so we have them come in and we go over their application and make sure they're including those keywords, because a lot of things are, the situation now is where it's online. And so there's not a person that's reviewing the application. It's a computer program that's scanning for keywords. So kind of helping make sure that the applications are filled out correctly. Resume is a big scary thing that people don't like to deal with. And so we help out with resumes as well, kind of taking some of the fear out of that. That's another service that we do by appointment in the Career Center.
So what's the
Oh,
biggest
and
go ahead.
I was just going to say, and these services are not just for our current students, they're for current and former students. So if you were here, you finished, and you've gone on and you're struggling in your career and you're wanting some help, come back and see us, because we're still here for you.
So what's the biggest mistake you guys see on a resume?
Yes.
I'm enthusiastic. I'm a creative person.
Yeah. No,
Great things to
there's
mention,
no
but
I in resume. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and I would just say overall, people are proud of their accomplishments. And so they don't want to exclude any of those accomplishments. But I have to remind everybody that the resume is not a biography. It's
But I have an
not.
I love me wall. I have my I
No.
love me wall with all
Yeah.
my certificates, and I need to include all
We
of them.
love you, but a hiring manager doesn't have 12 hours in every single day to read 12-page resumes. They want to be able to scan it in seconds, see what they need to see, and determine if they want to bring somebody in. So it's all about editing down. The resume is a snapshot. So just give them enough to make you want to make them want to interview you. When you get to the interview, dazzle them with the details in the interview, not the resume.
So resume should just be one page, correct?
Yes, if
Okay.
at all possible. Yes, two at the most, but one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fine,
Here-
fine.
here's a
Hit
Yeah,
the
take all that down,
highlight.
Mariceli.
but if you get it to a page or two tops, then you have a better chance of getting the call for the interview. Then you can talk about your I Love Me wall and I Love Me book. That's where you can bring
Yes,
it.
exactly.
Well, here's
That's
a,
why you bring the portfolio.
Yeah.
here's kind of an odd question regarding resumes, Keisha. Do you prefer plain white paper, colored paper, or paper that stands out? What is there some written rule of thumb about that, or should not do?
Can we
Listen,
be like
Bruce,
Legally Blonde with the
Mm,
scented
stop.
paper?
Stop. I am so glad you asked this question. Okay, so use nice paper, okay? It doesn't have to be the expensive paper with the watermark if you don't have it, but use nice paper. Don't use paper that you've had stored in your garage for a few years and it's worn and yellowed. You want a nice quality paper, okay? Now, if you use the watermark paper, you have to use it properly. There is a method to the madness. So I don't know if this is too boring or not, but when you look at the watermark, you can read the words on the watermark. So when you print, your resume should, when you hold it up, I should still be able to read the watermark. The watermark shouldn't be backwards or upside
Ah.
down. And it's a whole thing. So if you're going to use the fancy paper, you have to use it properly. But a nice white piece of copy paper that doesn't have coffee stains and all of that is perfectly okay.
So avoid using those bright color papers or things like that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's too much.
No neon.
Okay.
And no photos. Y'all are beautiful. No photos, no personal information, height, weight, age, none of that. I'm saying it sounds silly, but people do it. None of that information on the resume.
And don't shrink down the font to 7 to put more on the
No.
first page.
No. 11 or 12. 11 or 12 times or Arial, something plain, no cursive frilly fonts.
Straight to the point, kind of.
No
Yes,
italics.
exactly.
Fine. Let's see. Eric says resume 25-pound paper. Are many companies using online resume functions?
Yeah, a lot of things are being done online. I will say if you have a resume document, converting it to PDF is a good idea for when you're uploading. Sometimes when you upload a Word document, all the formatting gets all out of whack. And so a PDF is a static document, and so everything stays right where it is when you upload it. So I would recommend converting your resume to a PDF if you're going to upload it on the internet.
Is there a difference if it's like a federal job?
Yes. Brian is our federal resume SME subject matter expert. But yes, federal resume is take all the regular resume rules
Yeah.
and toss them out.
Everything we've been talking about, minus the cutesy fonts and pictures and stuff, those don't belong on a federal resume either. But a federal resume essentially is your extension of your application that you're going to fill out. It is your resume, and many times it serves as your interview. So the hiring manager or the hiring committee, that may be the only document that they see to get them to try to give you a job offer.
So that's where I can include my I love me wall.
Absolutely.
portfolio.
Yeah. There's a whole
Yeah.
section for it. There's a whole section for it on a standard federal resume format.
Okay.
You can talk in depth, in detail, and it's actually more beneficial. The more detail you can provide about a position that you've held would increase your chances of getting referred and then getting moved on to the hiring manager and getting further along the process.
Cool.
Okay.
Hey, Maricela, does Eric have access to the WebEx chat here? Or
No, nobody does. It's just us.
Okay, well,
But I've been posting stuff to him.
okay, so
I'll be
he's
posting.
got the to the conditions of tomorrow contact
Mhm.
information on you posted that already? Okay, cool. I just want to make sure he has access to that.
Yep, we have definitely. I have been posting what you've been posting.
Cool, thank you.
I got you.
I know you do, but I'm just making sure. I don't know
Y'all
how
have
this
a
technology
well-oiled
stuff works.
machine here.
Got this. We got this. I am including right now to all the platforms, the phone and email to the Career Center. I had not added that, but I had everything else. So
Thank you.
G2G emailed them already. Oh, look at you. Eric's on point today. I'm just saying he wants to get into this program.
Well, cool. Well, I still want him in my driveway fixing my car, so
Yeah.
Hey,
send him my email address and we'll talk.
okay. We'll work on that.
All right.
All right. So,
This could be the challenge he needs to, springboard him into that program. I'm just
right.
saying.
Right. Oh, excellent. Okay. Let's see. What else do we have? My Twitch has stopped working. Why, Twitch? Why? Come back.
One thing I can add on the federal side too, federal jobs are not just suit and tie bureaucrats. There are more positions with the federal government than there are with any other business or corporation in the United States. And they do have a lot of blue collar type jobs. There's There's jobs there for certified plumbers, for electricians, for general maintenance. I mean, all of those technical and vocational trades that people have certifications for, those jobs are just as vital on the government side and federal side as well.
Cool.
And probably more so in some respects.
All right. So fine, I found a job. I don't have, what do I wear? Should I wear my open-toed shoes, like my flip-flops from home?
Are you talking about for the interview?
Yeah. 'Cause
Okay,
now,
yeah.
now I got called in. Should I be wearing like my jeans with holes in them and stuff like that?
The latest fashion.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You want to be professional. Some key mistakes that people make when they prepare for the interview is too much perfume. You should just leave the perfume and the cologne off that day. You never know what type of allergies people have. You don't want to be closed up in a room with someone that you're making sick because you didn't know that they had an issue with that particular type of. So the scent, you want to minimal makeup. This is not a club day. Professional clothing, clean, ironed. Don't take it that fresh shirt and tie straight out of the plastic bag and put it on. Put a little iron to it. Got to remember that first impressions are lasting, and so you want to put your best foot forward.
Even when, oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Even when you go to the company, because some people used to have to go and pick up the applications. Even if you're going to pick it up, you still need to dress for the interview. You never know if they want to interview you on the spot.
Absolutely.
FYI, that's happened once before, and well, I was a lot younger, but I would have gotten the job had I dressed nice.
Yeah.
Lesson learned.
That's
a
happening many
great
times
tip.
at job fairs now too. At job
Yeah.
fairs, if
And,
you
and you want to appear, I guess a lot of people when they go to interviews or go to pick up applications, well, they want to appear hip with the latest fashion trends and so forth. But again,
No.
as Keisha said, some of those latest fashion forms like the sagging or the torn jeans, they're not what people who are hiring are looking for. They want you to look professional. So follow Keisha's advice and dress accordingly. And what about Keisha? What happens when you're in a situation where you really don't have those clothes to do that? Do we have options for them?
We absolutely do. Central Texas College has the Eagle Career Closet. So for students who need help with professional attire, we got you covered. A lot of the things in the career closet are yours to keep. Some things you have to check out. The Eagle Career Closet is housed in the library here on campus. You can go there by appointment. You just contact the library. I have their number. It's 526-1621, or you can email reference request at ctcd.edu. On their webpage, there's a link to the career closet where you can browse the items that they have available. And if you are out there and you're cleaning out your closets and you have some professional clothes that you don't wear anymore, definitely contact the Career Center. We'll take those because we can always use more clothing that we can help our students with. And this isn't just for an interview. You know, some people, they get hired at a job and they have to wear business professional items and they don't have that in their wardrobe. So they can use it for that purpose as well. And this is for service that's for our current students.
So now I know how to look right. So how do I act in the interview? How do I prepare for the interview? Because here's the thing, and this is me as somebody who hires student and workers. I will say this is my one tip. Treat everybody nicely when you come in the door. You never know who's going to be part of the committee, because I know that one of the things that I do is I will ask the people at the front desk, hey, how was their demeanor? Were they nice? Were they appropriate? if they're running late, did they call or did they just, go ghost on you? Like, what's going on? Because I've had it where I'm like, oh, this person's amazing. And then the people at the front desk are like, she was so rude to us. I was like, oh no, you can't be rude to the people I have already. Like, that's not going to work for me.
Yeah.
So,
And
what kind of
honestly,
behavior should they have?
honestly, that's one of my first tips. The interview starts the minute you walk in the door. It doesn't start when they take you back to the room. It starts the minute you walk in the door. You are on at that point. So make sure that when you put that foot in there. And a lot of people, when they're preparing for an interview, they're like, oh my gosh, what am I going to wear? Where is it? And they don't think about the actual substance of the interview. So I always advise people to prepare for the questions, learn about the company. Uh, Most companies have websites with a lot of information. Do your research. Be prepared with questions. You never want to get to the end of the interview and they say, do you have any questions? And you say no. That's the kiss of death. Because that's basically like, yeah, I don't care what's going on here. And you don't want that to be the last impression that you give. So remember that an interview is a two-way process. So yes, they're going to ask you questions because they're trying to identify if you are a right fit for their organization. But then they're going to say, do you have any questions? And this is your opportunity to ask questions to see if the organization is a good fit for you. And so think about what's important to you. Think about the research you did. And if you saw something that you wanted more information about, now's your chance to identify. We spend a whole lot of time at work. You don't want to get stuck working somewhere where you're miserable. And so you know what it is that you're looking for in an ideal position. And so what questions can you ask at the end that are going to help you to determine if this is the right spot for you?
So, what are some good things to ask when you're, at the actual interview?
It's really going to be individual. Some good questions are asking about the work culture. I like to kind of spin it around and ask the interviewer what they like about working there. Um, if it's shift work, you may ask questions about the shift, maybe what a typical day is like. Basically, just anything to gain insight into what it is like working there. Avoid asking about salary at that point. That's not the appropriate time to you. If you get offered the position, you can inquire about those specifics at that time.
Eric asks, is it appropriate to ask other current employees what they think about the environment or workplace?
Absolutely. I feel like that's part of the research of trying to figure out if it's a good place, if it's going to be a good fit for you.
Yeah. And also it's a good fit in multiple ways, because a job is not just what you do as, like, it's not just, oh, I show up, I'm going to do this every single day. Usually there's more of a component. You have to get along with everybody. You have to figure out if those aspects are going to help, or because sometimes you might be willing to take less money if you have a better environment, for
Absolutely.
example.
Absolutely. So you're gonna have to figure out, like I said, what's important to you. Like you're the one that's gonna have to clock in and out every day. So what's gonna be important for you in this place where you're gonna spend so much time? And then those are the types of questions that you want to ask. That's the kind of research that you want to do. If you know people that work there, yeah, trying to get insight on what it's really like to work there. Because like I said, you don't want to be miserable day in and day out.
Yeah, and also, to that end, if you get this job and you find that it's not you, there's no reason to kind of mope and have a bad attitude going into that job. Use that and keep your positive attitude and use those skills as a stepping stone to the next position, because you can always use that as experience on a resume. So if you're not happy there, you find that this is not really what I wanted, no reason to stay there and be unhappy and then express your unhappiness to everybody around you. Just keep it to yourself, go and be positive, and use that experience that you're gaining at that current job to move on up to somewhere else that you want to be. So it doesn't always have to be gloom and doom.
Absolutely.
We get a lot of
So-
questions in our department about dress code a lot because, you know, Marisol and I with the dress up, some of our student workers get to wear jeans, some of our ambassadors have to wear slacks. So it's different for each employee that we have. But is that an appropriate question to ask? Should they do it
Absolutely.
before or after they get the job?
No, I feel like that's an appropriate question because
you.
that is kind of part of figuring out, okay, do I want to work somewhere where I have to dress a certain way or, so if that's something that's important to you or from a financial standpoint, can I afford the kind of dress code that's going to be required? Things like that that are going to be important factors for you, that's definitely an appropriate question to ask.
And plus, you don't want to show up that first day
No,
with
and
something
we've
that they
had that
don't
before.
approve of. So
Exactly.
Yeah, no. Um, should you send a thank you email or a card after the interview? Or is there like another way that you should thank the company for interviewing? Who do you thank?
Both of those are appropriate. And if you usually you're communicating with someone when you're setting up that interview. So addressing it through that person to whoever was actually on the interview panel is appropriate. Yes, definitely. I'm always
will s-
impressed if I get a thank you after an interview. It's not something that happens commonly anymore.
It really does take that person to like, oh, okay, because and then the other thing that for me, when I'm looking at it, I'm looking at did the person spell things right? Were they
Yes.
communicating correctly? Because if you're gonna do it right, okay?
Yes.
Are they like actually writing in a way that it seems professional? Does it look appropriate? Or, is it the scented, card or something along those lines that you're going, I don't know if this is what I want representing my organization, versus a really well written out note or email can
Right.
make a difference, because I'm like, oh, that's like even another thing that I don't have to worry about because this person's showing it to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And just one little tip, definitely after the fact, not at the end of the interview, hand them a pre-written thank you card. No, don't do that.
well, and see,
That
that
should not
well-written
be.
card could also be a precursor to something that you might need to apply to that job later on down the road. So if the person doing the interview recognizes your writing skills and your abilities there to communicate, that could go a long way to, as a second step of the interview, to put you over the top.
Absolutely.
Okay, Eric wants to know any tips for business cards.
Any tips for business cards? Um, I would probably just say no frills.
Keep it
The
simple.
important stuff, name, contact, in a font that's legible, no fancy. Yeah,
And be consistent with your font. Don't change colors and fonts throughout the whole business card, because a lot of people will write their name in one font, put their contact in another font, put the name of the business in a third font.
yeah,
Be consistent.
yes. Less is more.
Yeah, and usually you will see business cards that have like names, like pictures or logos and stuff, but that's only if you're representing like an organization that goes beyond that. If it's, I think it's something where it's you just representing yourself. It has a different feel when it has a lot of frills on the back. Um, and even for us, if you look at our business cards, I don't have one here, we have our CTC, Central Texas College logo, and then everything else is pretty simplistic. Because,
Yep.
yeah, there you go. Because yes, we want people to know, yes, this is Central Texas College, but the rest of the stuff is really, really simple, so that it's not overpowering the message.
Yeah. But
Mhm.
to that end, Eric, if you are self-employed and you have your own business name and stuff, I would go ahead and include that with a logo if you have a logo already established. That way, if you're self-employed and you give that card to somebody, they'll say, okay, this guy's self-employed and he's got his own logo and everything, so he's got it
Right.
going on. So
Right.
if you're already at that point, then I would encourage you to do that. But again, you want to still keep that simple. You don't need a big frilly, show of that.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed. Branding is important in that instance.
Okay, I have another comment question. It says, I received a video welcome from a person I was considering interviewing. I didn't really like that. It was too much. Your thoughts? Is that creative? Again, this is making me think of Legally Blonde all over.
If it's for a position in broadcasting or telecommunications, graphic design, something like that, that's showing your creativity may be appropriate. If you're applying for an operations management position in XYZ Corporation, probably not gonna get a call.
Yeah,
you
and
would-
I just have more questions than answers with that. Like, was it just out of the blue? Did they find their email address randomly and send it? Was it in response to attached to a resume? I just have so many questions.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't recommend a video of it's something just basic, simple. Hi, I'm so and so, and I'm applying for this job, so and so, and I'd love to set up an interview with you or whatever, as opposed to something that, like you said, was creative and frilly and all that. That might be a little over the top, but a basic video, you would still say no to that.
Cover letter.
Yeah, yeah.
There you go.
So-
Okay, I was just trying to clarify that. So
Well, there was clarification here. The video was out of the blue. It was not requested.
Yeah.
So
No.
obviously, this is not a creative, portfolio style resume. This is, again, Elle Woods and Legally Blonde.
no, I gotta hand it to that person for thinking out of the box and trying to get themselves noticed. I gotta give them that.
So they got noticed.
It might not be the way that they want to get noticed, but at least
Right.
they got
Right.
noticed. So.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right, Eric going back to the business card thing. Eric says, so like a mini resume business card would be weird. Copy on personal logos. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I don't want to see a resume on a business card. If I want a business card, I want it because I want the person's contact information. That's it. And if I want a resume, I don't want to have to, my eyes aren't that great. I don't want to have to squint to read all the things that would need to be on a resume on a tiny business card. So those are two separate things that I don't think should mix.
Okay, yeah. No, it's short, sweet, to the point is what the business card is supposed to be. Like, this is why.
Yeah,
you're here,
they are
remember
two
me.
different purposes. They serve two different purposes.
Yeah. So, all right. I think this has been awesome. I think we have really had some really great questions. Do we have any like final words of wisdom from you guys? Maybe like a final takeaway that maybe we haven't discussed?
I don't know if it's that we haven't discussed, but I would just say that career services is here. There may be questions that you have about the things that we talked about, and so definitely reach out and we can provide more information. This was just a brief conversation, and sometimes things take a little bit longer. But we're here to help because we want you to succeed in whatever path you choose. And so definitely reach out to us and we will do our best.
Awesome.
I was also going to ask you really quick, do y'all still do the typing test over there?
Yes, typing tests are a service that we provide to the community at no charge. Just reach out to us and we can get that set up.
Brian, any last words of wisdom, things you want to highlight, bold, underscore?
When you go to an interview, dress nice, dress appropriately, dress professionally, but you don't want to dress to impress. You want your interview to be what impresses the hiring panel. Don't wear your Sunday best looking like you're stepping out with the loud colored jackets, shirts.
Right.
Simple, professional, plain, subdued tones, and let your words and your resume do the impressing.
All right.
Agreed.
That is a great, definitely a great tip. We've seen that too. So Eric says, thank you all. This was super. Found this by chance today. Take care all. Eric, come back.
Yes.
Check us out. We are
Eric.
constantly putting out stuff on Facebook
Right.
Eric,
and
And
get my
Twitter,
email address.
Discord.
Email me.
I was just
Okay.
going to say the career services, we are located right here in the same area as automotive, so swing by and say hi.
Yeah, definitely. And for any other reason, Eric, email me and I will forward you information on the Technicians of Tomorrow program that I have. So
Yeah.
I can get that to you. And
I
then we'll
went
talk
ahead.
about my car at some other point, but
I knew that was coming.
Future. I went
but I
ahead
want to hook
and
you up with the program first.
yeah, let's get them certified first.
Yeah.
So I want to say thank you, Bruce. Do we have any like upcoming events that we might
We
want to
do.
share before we?
For students who are kind of new to CTC, or even those who are returning students who have not quite mastered using Blackboard, we have a CTC live session on how to use Blackboard, all the tools associated with Blackboard, how your faculty members will communicate with you through Blackboard, and they're putting their assignments on Blackboard, and how you respond to those. All of that coming up on September 1st here on Facebook or WebEx, and you can go to our events page and find that. It's at 2 o'clock on September 1st using Blackboard. And then the following day, on September 2nd, we have a CTC live session on student services. If you need textbook lending help, child care assistance help, tutoring help, free tutoring help, I might add, check that out at 10 o'clock on September 2nd. That'll be CTC Live Student Services. And we'll talk about all of their free services that they offer to help Eagles be successful. So those are the immediate ones coming up, not to mention the Welcome Bash on Thursday. So.
We have a lot of welcome week events. I'm putting all those into the chat. There's way more into it. Please check them out on their website. Here in Central Campus, we're having all kinds of events. Some of them are virtual, some of them are not. And also next week, we're going to have our next Eagle Talk. That's going to have to do with mental health.
Very
and some of
important
our
these days.
yeah, really important these days. And so we want to make sure that you guys participate in that too. Please, I want to thank everybody for participating and for really coming in and asking questions and just giving us all this great information. If anybody has any other interests in topics that we should do in the future, please let us know. You're welcome to go to our Discord and just type it in under the Eagle Talk channel and just say, hey, I want to get more information on this. You're welcome to email either Bruce or I or Jennifer, and we'll definitely help you guys out, or anybody really. They'll make sure we get it. Just let us know what you want to do and what you want us to talk about, because we have certain things planned out, but if it's something that you're more interested in, then even better. So with this, I want to say thank you to everybody, and we hope you have a great day. We will see you next week in our next Eagle Talk.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.